Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. This is one of my favorite nights. We are going to share some stories with y'all. My name is Lisa, and I'm going to introduce three of my sweet friends who have found some hope, who have found some restoration, and some of you have found some financial benefits to this little side gig we got going on here called Plexus. So I'm going to introduce my sweet friend, Brittany. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself and then her journey.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. First, hi. I want to have the flu. So I'm like all bundled up with the chills over here. Little background on me. I am a mom of 3 girls, which is why I have the flu. I've been taking care of them for the past week and a half, and I tried everything to fight it. But it got me today. So, and there's a new drug out, y'all, called Xofluza. If you get the flu, take it, because I was like mouth open, chills, body aches today on the couch to like actually be able to put clothes on and take my kids to all their after school activities while my husband's out of town. So, all that to say, I live in Birmingham, Alabama. I have been with Plexus a little over 3.5 years, I think. And Plexus actually found me. In my previous time before Plexus, in college, I was always interested in fitness and working out. Never super consistent, even after college and early into my marriage. And then I had 3 kids and everything went to, handbasket. So after our 3rd baby, I had committed to myself that I was going to get back in shape and be Brittany. I was struggling with some depression, anxiety of having a 3rd that I wasn't quite ready for. And I decided to do a fitness program, and I went all in, and understand that I'm kind of crazy when it comes to things like that. I do take a commitment and go for it. I did that for about a year, and then I met a sweet friend. I don't know if she's on this call or not, but we were at dinner for her sister's birthday, and she was like, "Oh, so you actually do this direct marketing thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm a Beachbody coach, and I'm happy." She was like, "Okay, that's fine." I was like, "Well, maybe we can share some ideas," and that was it. 6 months later, she comes back to me and says, "Hey, Plexus is more than just weight loss. Are you experiencing any other issues?" And I thought for a minute, and I thought, well, I still feel bloated all the time. I struggle from ovulation cramping every single month, where I literally have to sit down for 2 days straight because it hurt to walk. I have struggled from cystic acne my entire life. And so we started talking, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to give the products a try. Maybe they'll help with my workouts. My father is also a chiropractor, so I grew up very holistic. Didn't get shots or anything like that, but it wasn't into my 30s that I really realized what supplements do for us. And so I was immediately intrigued and hooked. So I started the products. I started with our triplex, and I'm always super, super honest about this, but 2 weeks in, I wanted to quit. I detoxed, and guess what my detox was? Acne all over my face. And I thought, no way am I going to do this again. This just cannot happen. I couldn't leave my house. It was awful, y'all, awful. So I called Brooke and I said, "I'm done. I just can't do it." And she was like, no. I know that you will be able to see success if you just stick with it. It's called detox. The 3 places that we detox are pores, pee, and poop. I was like, okay, I got it. So I stuck with it. And about 6 to 8 weeks in is when my life started to change. And it was really subtle changes, you guys. It wasn't like a lightning bolt hit me and I was like, "Oh, I'm a new person." It was more, if people on the outside actually saw it first. My husband being the first, he was like, "You didn't have to take your 2 days this month. I didn't have to cook dinner and do the kid stuff." I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're right." The bloating started to go away. I was getting leaner in my workouts. So I was like, okay, this is good stuff, and I'm in. I did mention that I was with another direct marketing company before. Beachbody. And I was at the point in my career with that I had to make the decision, was I going to continue to be a Beachbody coach while I was loving these Plexus products? Or was God saying, this is just, you're still going to reach your goal of leading a healthy lifestyle, but maybe you just need to change your path a little bit. And so that's what I did. And I went, like I said, all in with the business side of things, because I was working a full-time corporate job. I was a HIPAA or data integrity specialist for a large medical transcription company out of Massachusetts. I worked from home, but I still had very young children, and I could not keep them home. So they were in daycare, which costs a lot of money. And I just wanted to be more flexible for my children. In this point right now, because I've been home with my kids for, like I said, a week and a half now. Before that would have stressed me out and I would have lost my mind. Because not all bosses understand that you have little ones. She didn't have kids. She was in Florida. She didn't really care. She was like, you have things to do. And so my why was, can I replace my income in corporate America to be able to be more flexible for my children? I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm not that kind of person. But I wanted the flexibility. I wanted to go to the school party. I wanted to be able to stay home with them if they were sick. So 8 months into my journey, I was able to resign. And that was July of 2017, I believe it was. Maybe 18, I can't even remember now. But the Lord was working in my life in ways that I didn't even know. And sometimes I get choked up, especially because I have the flu, I might cry. But a month later, after I resigned, I get a phone call from a previous employee or coworker. And she was like, just wanted to know if you heard what's going down at the office. And I'm like, no, I'm gone, I'm out. She's like, well, they just laid off our entire department. And I thought, what? It's fine, baby. I thought, oh my goodness, like if I didn't have Plexus in my pocket as a plan B, I would have lost my mind, like lost it. My husband had a good income, but even people that make great incomes are still living paycheck to paycheck. We were trying to save as much as possible for, retirement. My husband is a huge saver. And so the business just became this crazy thing that I needed and didn't even know it. And the products have been just life-changing. So that's a little bit of my story. I won't go on too long because I can get long-winded, but thank you so much for being here tonight and listening to my story, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Brittany. And just a quick question. I know you have a little one there wanting to talk to you, but real quick, do you think that being on Plexus as long as you have has helped you recover from the flu a little quicker? Do you feel like maybe?
I feel like, honestly, it prevented me from getting it as quick as I did.
Right.
I really thought that I was going to be able to outlast it because I don't ever get sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't even get it until today. But now, honestly, like I said, I've gone from almost 360 today, from literally not being able to move to functioning. So
right.
Yes, absolutely.
That is huge. And I love the fact that you did need to succumb to prescription medication. Western medicine can be a huge blessing, but I also feel like some people think that if Plexus can't heal everything, then it's just, then they don't want any part of it. I love that it is a tool in your toolbox. And I'm so glad that you're feeling better. My goodness, I did not know that you were feeling so crazy. And I love how with your dad being a chiropractor, being very naturalistic, that what does he think about Plexus?
He loves Plexus. He takes Plexus. It took me a while to get him on it, but he does. My whole family does. So
that's so great.
Yeah, we are a Plexus family.
Oh, that's so great. I'm so glad. Well, thank you for sharing. And I love how she brought up how, sometimes the plans that we think that we have aren't necessarily the plans that the Lord has for us. So I love that the Lord knew that her department was going to be 86, and that he was preparing her for this. So I'm a huge believer in the timing of the Lord, and with our health and with finances. And so if you haven't heard my story, message me and I'll tell you my story about that as well, about finances. But okay, So next, we have another sweet testimony. Well, where is she? Tara. Where's Tara? There you are. Hi. Okay, so Tara's going to share next. And I love her story. So y'all listen up. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Hi, everyone. So as Lisa said, my name is Tara Ingram, and I have been an ambassador now for a little over 3 years. And I completely agree with what Lisa said. You just never know where the Lord's gonna take you. And if you asked me 3 years ago if I would be talking to you guys all about my Plexus journey, there's no way. But I actually started the products for one reason and one reason only, and that was weight loss. I am a mom of 2 kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. And those of you that have children know they wear a lot out of you. And after I had my youngest, there was really no time for me. I ate and ate and then ate some more. You know how you have those cravings, those sweet cravings, and you think that after you deliver the baby, they're going to disappear. Mine didn't disappear. So I just continued to consume. And funny fact is that Brittany is actually the one that introduced me to the product. So Brittany and I knew each other way back when, and we actually worked with one another. And time and distance kind of separated us a little bit. But she came back into my life, thankfully, and brought Plexus with her. But I had seen Brittany on Facebook, and because, like I said, we lost touch. And I knew that I was unhappy with where I was. I knew that I had gained a lot of weight. I knew that it was very, very hard for me to lose it. I had almost kind of just gotten to the point to where I was okay with it. I figured this is just how life is going to be. I don't have time to do anything else. I can't get rid of my cravings. This is just life. And so I had been silently watching Brittany's post, and I would have never reached out to her in a million years. But Thanksgiving of 2016, she reached out to me. Now, you would have thought somebody that really knew that they needed something like this and wanted to look like her would have jumped on the opportunity to say hello back and say yes to whatever she was offering, but I didn't. I stayed silent. And it took me seeing a picture of me baking cookies with my daughter around Christmas for me to realize that, whoa, it was time for me to do something. I knew that I had gotten large. I didn't know I had gotten so large, but you know, in addition to my weight, I had no energy for my children. I work full time. I work for a financial institution. So typical, 40 to 50 hours a week. I would come home, not have any energy. Thankfully, I have a very, very supporting husband who would take a lot of the slack because I was unhappy. And unfortunately, those of you that have ever been overweight know that with weight comes a change in your mood and definitely that change of energy. So and sometimes it just takes looking at a picture. We look at ourselves in the mirror all the time and we don't realize how bad it's gotten until we see a picture of ourselves. And that's where I was at. So I actually proactively reached back out to Brittany around Christmas time and said, you know what? I need something. She mentioned that she was a Beachbody coach. That's actually what I figured that Brittany was going to talk to me about. And she didn't. She talked to me about Plexus. I had no idea about gut health whatsoever. So she helped to educate me and said, hey, you know what, Tara, this is where you need to start. We need to start at the root of the issue. Let's figure out what's going on. Give me 60 days. So she recommended Triplex, and very similar to how Brittany manages. This is why Brittany and I work so well together. Once we kind of put our mind to something, we don't give up on it. And I knew that I was going to give it my all. And that's exactly what I did. So I was on Triplex for 60 days. In addition to taking the supplements, I drank half my body weight in water a day. I made healthy substitutions. I like to eat. I will eat anything that comes my way. I'm not a picky eater, but I knew that I had to make substitutions because I knew that Plexus was not going to be this magic pill. You're talking to somebody that has tried every diet, every pill, anything out there. If it said that it was going to make me lose weight, I tried it, and unfortunately it never really worked. So I made healthy substitutions. Instead of ordering fried, I would order grilled. Instead of, having the pasta or the rice on the side, I would have my veggies. And above everything else, I was consistent with the products. The gym, unfortunately, was just not my thing. It didn't fit into my timing that I had at night when I would come home. I would walk. My goal was to walk 10,000 steps. That was my small goal that I knew was manageable for myself to be able to accomplish daily. But I never missed a day with my supplements. And after 60 days, I reached back out to Brittany and said, okay, what can we add on? And so I added a couple additional products, and 6 months into my supplements, I lost 45 pounds. And the biggest thing with this is, like I said, I tried everything out there, and I would lose weight here and there, but I would gain it right back. And here I am over 3 years later, being able to say that I've maintained that. And that above everything is so important because I've been able to create a lifestyle. And the accountability, I would say, that Plexus has brought has also allowed me to change my lifestyle. Now I am finding time for the gym and doing things like that. But, Brittany mentioned a little bit about the financial side, and that also kind of just dropped in my lap. I had no intention of sharing, but people believe results, and people were seeing my results. And so people were proactively reaching out to me. I had my family, my very close friends start the products because they liked the changes that they saw in me. My husband loved the change in my attitude because I was happier. And so he jumped on the products. He got his family on the products. And not only was I seeing the changes in myself continue, but I was also seeing the changes around everybody around me. And that's when I began to share, because I figured, hey, you know what? This has been placed in my lap. The products have done a wonder for me. So why would I want to hold back from sharing that with other people? As I mentioned, I've got 2 small kids, and daycare is not cheap. And I'm able to pay for that daycare now. I'm not having to rely on my husband's income or my income from my corporate job to worry about that. We've got this coronavirus chaos, but I was able to fully pay for a cruise for my parents. We're supposed to be going next month. Who knows if that's actually going to happen, but for my dad's 80th birthday for a week. And that's something that I wouldn't have been able to do without this additional income. The other thing too, especially when people talk about weight loss, I mentioned accountability, and that is huge. I tell my husband all the time, I've gotten the weight loss piece of this. Awesome. I've gotten the financial blessing of it. Awesome. But above everything else, the relationships. And I tell my husband all the time, if I did not have one other person order from me, I would continue to share, continue to talk about these products, because I've been blessed by women that I feel like I have known a lifetime. I am surrounded by a group of women that I feel are my biggest supporters, my biggest cheerleaders. And I don't think that I would have been able to have the success with these products without them. And that's why I think it's Plexus is absolutely amazing.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Taking notes on my head while you were talking. First of all, if y'all haven't seen Tara's before and afters, it's so good. You need to see them. If you can't find them, message her and she'll send you the before and afters. They're pretty remarkable. I thought you were pretty cute before, but definitely a huge difference. And I also love the fact that whenever you said that, you had your second child and you're just like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I gained some weight. Oh, I have sugar cravings. and you just kind of gave in to the kind of the old adage that that's just kind of what happens when you have a couple kids and you don't, feel the same and you feel tired and this and that. And so same thing with illness, whenever we are getting older and we start to, have more sickness and have, we start getting these thyroid issues and sinus infections and, UTIs and just all these things that start coming along with getting older. So many people just kind of succumb to that. And I love how you're just kind of like, wait a minute now, it doesn't have to be this way. Right. So, I love that, because that was a huge aha moment for me, that I just felt like I was too young to feel as old as I did. And I also feel like the Lord was kind of nudging me going, this isn't it. Like, it's not like you're going to start going downhill from here. It doesn't have to be that way. So I love that you were able to kind of have some good benefits from these products as far as that goes, because that's really hard sometimes, having some little ones and they just do suck the life out of you. I know, but thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. So last but certainly not least is my sweet friend, Amy. And Amy, for those of y'all who don't know, first of all, she's going to tell you about her health testimony for sure. Don't want to give that away. But she also has, and Amy, tell me, is the title of that video that Plexus did called Opportunity? What was the title of it called?
Because of Plexus.
Because of Plexus. They all okay. Good. Y'all need to find that. Is in the back office. And if you're not an ambassador, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, ask the person who invited you to this video. They will find that, because it's a really cool video that corporate did of Amy and her family. And it's just so well done. And she just did a great job, and she knocked it out of the park. But just like Tara said, really quick, what Tara said about this being a family. And for me, it's definitely been a God touched thing in my life. The Lord knew that I needed these women and men, but these women in my life. And he has provided these relationships that I feel are lifelong relationships through Plexus. I was never in a sorority in college, but if I was, I can only imagine that it would be as sweet as these relationships. And Amy and I got to spend some sweet time last May at a Bob Hiley conference in Dallas. We just had the best time.
So much fun.
So yes, and I can't wait to do something like that again. So, all right, Miss Amy, you just take it away.
All right. And I did not realize this, but Tara and Brittany and I have all been on the products for about the same amount of time. I think we all started. So that's so fun. So I have been, just like them, on the products for 3 years. It was 3 years in February. I'm going to back up, because I feel like the year prior to me starting Plexus is really important. So the year before I started, we had gone through a really stressful season. And I know that people know that stress affects your health, but y'all, you have no idea how much it affects your health. We had gone through this really stressful season. During probably those 18 months, I was getting UTIs constantly. I was having migraines again. I had migraines as a child, like during puberty, but had not had them since then. But during that stressful season, I started getting migraines again, really bad UTIs. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and so my blood sugar levels were just not great. And so I was put on an antibiotic, several antibiotics for my UTIs. It was not working. So I was put on a preventative one on top of the antibiotic that I was taking to treat the urinary tract infections. And so my gut was a disaster, and I did not even realize that gut health was a thing. So in the middle of all this, we got pregnant with our third child. And so, in an already stressful situation, we got pregnant, which we were very excited about, but kind of had like an, oh my goodness, like, what are we going to do moment? And so I had a pretty hard pregnancy with Lucy. I gave birth to her. She was, by the grace of God, a beautiful, healthy baby girl. As wild as all get out. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you see her all over the place. But I had Lucy and kind of expected to bounce back like I did with my boys. I had my boys are exactly 2 years apart. And after I had both of them, I bounced back pretty quickly. I lost the weight. I had energy. My blood sugar level stayed pretty stable. And so I expected that to happen with Lucy. It did not. Y'all, I was a disaster. That year prior, being on all those antibiotics and having all that stress in our life really had an impact on my health. And I really started seeing that after I had Lucy. I was exhausted. And again, this is our third child. So I knew that I was going to be tired with the new baby. Everyone is tired with the new baby. But this was like tired to my bones. I can't get off the couch. I was just miserable. Our oldest had started kindergarten that fall. And so I felt like I was missing out on his whole like first semester of kindergarten because we had this new baby and I was sick. My blood sugar went like absolutely bonkers. And so as a result of that, it just kind of started a chain reaction. I was getting really low during the middle of the night, which is pretty common with diabetics if you have unbalanced blood sugar. But I was waking up at like 2 o'clock on the dot every morning. My blood sugar would be like in the 30s and the 40s, which is really dangerous. And so I'd wake up and eat a snack to raise my blood sugar, lay back down. Of course, as soon as you lay back down, the baby would wake up. And so I'd wake back up, nurse her, you know, in the cycle every single night. I'd wake up, my blood sugar would be in the 200s or 300s. And if you're not familiar with like blood sugar range, like that ain't good. It's not healthy. And so I lived like that for several months. And my blood sugar just made me exhausted. When your blood sugar is imbalanced like that, you crave carbs because your body is, you know, kind of in survival mode. Like your blood sugar drops low, your body says, we need carbs to raise your blood sugar up. So I was eating carbs all the time. And then I would get really high and be sick. And oh my goodness, y'all, it was not fun. So I honestly don't remember a whole lot. I feel like that whole time period of my life, the first 4 months of her life, were like a fog. You know, I was exhausted, I was cranky, imbalanced blood sugar, all the things. And so I'll never forget, we went to Disney World. We had given the kids a Disney World vacation for Christmas. Took all 3 to Disney World. And I remember walking around the park feeling miserable. My blood sugar was 420. And I told my husband, I was like, we have to do like this. We cannot keep doing this. And so we got home and we had also, like, to back up, I had been to my doctor. We had tried a different type of insulin. I had changed as much as I could my eating, and just nothing was working. So I got home and I had seen a friend posting on Facebook about Plexus, and I had skeptically like watched her for a year, and had noticed that she had been posting about blood sugar balance. And to be honest, like I completely rolled my eyes for a full year. I was like, I'm diabetic. Like I know all about blood sugar balance. Some pink drink is not going to do that for me. And so I got back from Disney World and I was like, whatever, like give me the juice. I don't care what it is. Like I will try it. And so I called her and got started with the Triplex. I started with the pink drink, the Probio 5, and the BioCleanse. And y'all, I swear, within 2 weeks, my blood sugar was completely balanced. Like, my husband, I remember we woke up one morning, he was like, you have not gotten up in the middle of the night with your blood sugar in 3 days. Like, what is happening? And y'all, it was a gut issue. Like, it was all about gut health. I had been taking my medication or my insulin. I had been doing the right things, but because my gut was in such an unhealthy state from the stress and the antibiotics, and just having a baby, you know, having my 3rd C-section, like all of those things contributed to really poor gut health. And so once my gut was in balance, once my gut was healed or healing, in the process of healing, my body just knew what to do. It was like it was kicked back into, you know, normal life. And so my blood sugar started balancing out. With that, my energy came back. I wasn't having migraines, have not had a UTI in the 3 years I've been on the products. I've had 1 migraine. And it's because of gut health, y'all. Like it matters so, so, so much. And so I'm a believer. Like I was a total skeptic and I'm obviously a total believer now. My last A1C was a 5.8. And so if you know anything about diabetics, most diabetics, a healthy range is between a 6 and an 8. A non-diabetic is below a 6. And so I have type 1 and will have it for the rest of my life. But my blood sugar is so balanced that it's in like a normal person's range, which is just crazy and like it's such a blessing. So all that happened, I got healthy. And then like Tara and Brittany were saying, God is just so sovereign and like in all areas of life. And like his hand has been so evident in this journey, not in just my health. If I just had that testimony to take away, like, all glory go to God, like, it was amazing. But I am a stay-at-home mom. I taught for 7 years, stayed home after we had our second baby. And we lived paycheck to paycheck. Like, my husband had a good job, but money was tight. And after we had Lucy, we were kind of going back and forth, like, do I need to go back to work? Because, 3 kids are not cheap. And so we were kind of going through all this. And 2 weeks to the day from me clicking join, my husband came home from work, and he had let go. He had lost his job. And it was like completely out of the blue. We had no idea that they were restructuring. And so, here we are with a 4-month-old. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have freaking no income whatsoever. And my husband had lost his job. And I truly believe that, like, the Lord, is so good. Like, he lined this up perfectly. Had I not joined Plexus, had he not brought that into my life and shown me in those 2 weeks, just small little stories that I had seen of people who had done this, and made good money doing it, I would never have gone down this path or looked into this. But because of, like, all of those little, I don't know, like, God winks that I had seen along the way, like when Andrew lost his job, I knew without a doubt that the Lord had brought me to this for this reason. And as a result, like, I've been able to stay home for 3 years. We have 2 kids in private school. We've been able to go on vacations. We would never be able to go on vacations before I started Plexus because we were on such a tight budget. But, like, we can go to the beach for the week now, or we can take our kids to Disney World. Both of our boys play baseball. Baseball in Birmingham is not cheap. And we're able to pay for that and just do things that we were never able to do before. Like, we're not having to look at every single item in our budget and be like, okay, if we're going to do this, what else are we going to take out? And it's not all about money, but y'all, such peace comes from that, just not having to worry about every penny. And so God has, like, blessed us beyond belief through this business, through these products, through the community. And we are just so grateful.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I love how you say that those God winks. Some people, I'll talk about myself. Whenever you have a degree, and my husband had a degree, and we just had this on our mind that, we go to college, we get our degrees, and that's what we do until we retire. And we live off, Medicare and retirement. And then that's just what we do, I love the fact that whenever, if we allow the Lord, sometimes he knocks us up over the head, but if we allow the Lord to show us these little nuggets of trust, that these opportunities to trust that come our way. I feel the same way that you did, because right after I joined Plexus, and I said, I'm not sharing. And I told my upline, don't ask me to share. I'm a nurse, and we don't do MLMs. In fact, don't tell anybody that I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Because I have a degree, I have to use my degree. Right. And we had a financial, thing where I had to be making an extra $500 extra a month. I had to. And I was like, well, where are we going to get this? My husband and I both had degrees, but we didn't live paycheck to paycheck, like you were saying, but money was tight. And I didn't know where this was going to come from. I didn't know, but God knew. God lined everything up, and he gave us this opportunity exactly when we needed it. I am 100% convinced of that. And so, and I also love the fact that you said you were rolling your eyes about blood sugar balance. Like, hey, I'm type 1. I know exactly about blood sugar balance. Thank you very much. I don't need to know anything else, because you probably are going to some really great doctors that you love and you trust. And I'm sure that you felt like you had, if they knew something more that they would tell you, But what we're learning is that, docs and nursing students in medical school, back in the day, when I say back in the day, within the last, before 10 years ago, they weren't being taught gut health. And this is something that is booming everywhere. It's in your yogurts, gut health and probiotics. It's in your orange juice. It's in your cereals. It's in everything now, because people are starting to catch on how important it is. And so I love that you also use it as a tool. I know you're not off your diabetic meds, but you're using it as a tool. And it is so dangerous when you have those spikes and dips in the blood sugars for so long. And so I love the fact that you're using this as a tool, and that you were finally able to open your mind a little bit to this. So that's huge. So I'm so happy for you. Hey guys, we are done for tonight. Thank y'all for hopping on. We love sharing our stories with you. If you have any questions, talk to the person that invited you to this video, or feel free to message me or any of the speakers. I know that we would love to share more about our stories if you have any extra questions. So we're going to hop off. So I hope you guys have a great night, and we will talk to y'all soon. Bye.